I wasn't going to make another video about gear, but I thought this was important. This is winter gear, and you will need it. First, let me state that I didn't share or I didn't put out my yellow t-shirts, yellow-green t-shirts in the previous video or this video, and that's because I have to buy new ones every week. And I buy new ones because, you know, you get, when you change your tire, you fix your chain, or the road dirt gets on your shirt, it doesn't wash out. So while I was on the TransAmerican bicycle trail, I just learned to go out and buy new shirts once a week. And I go to Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General, and Walmart, and that solves the problem. So, winter gear. These are mountain bike pants. They're, you know, full length. They're supposed to be water resistant or waterproof. They're not. Next, I carry two different types of hats. This is a wool polyester blend, and that's a solid wool with a polyester insert. I typically wear this one most nights, except when it gets colder, then I put that one on, and same when I'm riding down the road, I'll interchange them. Next is the merino wool long wear, you know, long underwear. That keeps me amazingly warm, and it's only one pair, you know, one pair of pants, one shirt. I love them. I was going to bring more on this trip. I figured I'd buy them on the way. Never happened. Next, we have two different types of buffs. Buffs are the things that go around your face and neck to keep you warm. This is a wool mix, and this is the full merino wool buff. Love them, can't say enough about them. Wool socks. I started the trip with two pair. One pair got destroyed. I wear those in conjunction with alpaca wool. It's alpaca wool sole inserts. Sole inserts, you slide them into your shoe, and wow, I'm talking wow, will your feet be warm. I learned about them from a person who snow races on his bicycle. And I didn't, you know, at first it's like, it's not going to work. Bought them, and wow, was I impressed. Next, I carry multiple pair of gloves. This is the only pair that made it from the winter. They're my heaviest glove, and if it's really, really cold, I will put on the blue latex. Well, they're not latex, they're vinyl or something. And I'll put those on first and start wearing them with my other gloves and even these gloves to help keep my hands warm. Now, when you do that, you don't realize how much your hands will sweat. When you take your gloves off at night and you pull those latex or vinyl ones off, your hands will be pruned because of all the excess sweat. It'll shock you the first few times. Next is the puffer jacket. I don't particularly like the style of the puffer jacket, but you can't say it doesn't work. It keeps me incredibly warm. Not only that, when it is soaking wet, all I have to do, you know, from sweat, I just hang it up, and 30 minutes later, it's dry. The only bad thing about carrying one on the Trans Am is you're not supposed to leave it in the bag all bunched up like that, you know, for extended periods of time. It's supposed to be hung up. You just can't do that on the Trans Am. Something else I will do, if I'm wearing all my clothes and I still can't get warm, I will put on my rain gear. That will add more heat to my body. I learned that one night. I was riding home. It was like 3 a.m. and I was freezing. This is beginning of July. And I was like, it shouldn't be this cold. When I got home, it was like in the 40s. Yeah, cold. So I had nothing to put on other than my rain gear. And as soon as I did that, I was like, wow, this works. So something to keep in mind. Well, I hope that's everything for the gear. You will need it. When I was at Yellowstone, I definitely wore it. When I was in Webster County, I wore it. And there were a few other times that it got really cold or it was really wet out and I just couldn't get warm. And I needed to put on, especially my merino wool, long johns, long underwear. And I typically always wear a hat when I go to bed just to stay warm at night. And in usual fashion, I forgot to mention something. My flannel shirt / jacket / pillow. Yes, I also use this as my pillow every night. This is a simple Amazon Essentials brand. It's nothing fancy, it just works. It's nice and thick, and it keeps me warm. I think it's mostly a polyester cotton mix. What what I would do on cold days is I'd put on my merino wool, put on a shirt, then I'd put this on. If I was still cold, I would put on my puffer jacket. If I thought I needed a little extra help with staying warm, I would put on my windbreaker. And you know what? That worked very well, especially on the days it was below 32 degrees. I had a few days that were even colder. But that wasn't on the Trans Am, that was prior to the Trans Am. Now, I could have put on my rain gear for added warmth, but I never had to. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but when you bundle up like that, you're going to sweat, and your puffer jacket, your flannel, your shirt, and your merino wool long johns are all going to be drenched. The puffer jacket and the flannel I would just hang up and it would dry relatively quick. My shirts, since they're typically cotton, take a long time to dry. Merino wool, even though it's wet, you're still going to be warm. That's the way it works. And also merino wool, as in all wool products, don't smell, which is awesome. Now, I don't know what you're going to bring on your trip. You're going to get cold. Hopefully you make some great decisions, and I'm not saying you have to bring everything I brought, but hopefully you bring something, at least a jacket, or maybe at least a flannel. I watched several people freeze on my experience, and you know, your heart goes out to them because you can't do anything for them. With all that said, there's one more item I forgot to mention. That is the Fox Pro whistle. Yeah, mine's all rusted out. I got to get a new one. That works great for deterring dogs, just as well as using your water bottle to spray them. I hope you have a great trip. I'm not saying you have to buy everything I bought, but you know, you're going to get cold. You're going to run into issues where you might need a pair of pliers. You would definitely need a whistle or some other dog deterrent. You know, bring what you can, and remember to pack light. The more weight you carry, the harder it is to pedal, and the more wear and tear you'll put on your bike. You could probably break spokes if, you know, you pack too much. Anyway, I hope you have a great trip. I hope all the hills you encounter are downhill, and that any dog that chases you is slow and fast.